Welcome to the Scientific Publications channel. Let me ask you honestly, do you really need publications in Q1, Q2 journals, or you have just heard that otherwise they won't count? And the second question, do you know when a quartile becomes a mandatory requirement? In today's video, we will explain how the logic of quartile works, specifically as a regulatory filter, where researchers most commonly make mistakes, and what algorithm for checking requirements will help you understand exactly what applies in your situation. What is a quartile? A quartile is the ranking of a journal within a specific subject category. There are 4 quartile types. Q1 comprises the top 25% in the category. The next 25% are Q2, followed by Q3 and Q4. It is worth noting that quartiles are used to rank scientific journals in the Scopus and Web of Science databases. How is the calculation performed? In Scopus, the quartile is determined based on site score indicator, the average number of citations received by the journal's publications over the past 4 years. In the Web of Science database, the quartile is determined using the journal impact factor, which represents the average number of citations received by the journal's articles over past 2 years. In both Scopus and Web of Science, journals within each subject category are ranked in descending order according to the mentioned indicators, after which they are divided into 4 equal groups, the 4 quartiles. When does the presence of a specific quartile becomes a regulatory requirement? In practice, the quartile acts like a filter in 2 situations. Firstly, when the requirement is stated in the document. For example, in the terms of a grant competition, attestation requirements, performance ratings, awards and reporting obligations, the database may be specified in which the scientist must publish, along with the minimum acceptable quartile in some cases. Secondly, when the quartile serves as a quick proxy for quality assessment. For instance, a regulatory document may require a high-level journals, leading publications or significant outputs. However, the committee doesn't scrutinize the content of each article in detail. The logic here is straightforward. If a researcher's portfolio includes articles in Q1, Q2 journals, it indicates that the work has undergone rigorous peer review and is deemed high quality. If the document contains a phrasing such as no lower than a specified quartile, that constitutes a regulatory filter. There are no universal rules applicable to all countries and organizations, as everything depends on the specific university, funding body, committee, or program. When is a quartile not mandatory but provides a strong advantage? There is also another scenario in which, in many systems, the quartile is not a prerequisite for dissertation defense or grant obtaining, but it substantially strengthens the researcher's position. A publication in higher quartile can give the scientist more points in an internal department or faculty ranking, significantly enhance a portfolio for grants and international projects, and serve as a compelling argument in competitions where candidates are otherwise closely matched. The main mistake when checking the requirements. Now let's discuss what most frequently leads to rejections and issues with publication reporting. Researchers don't usually branch requirements deliberately. They simply substitute what is actually stated in the document with what seems more convenient or familiar to them. The first mistake: outdated data on the year and category. Quartiles are recalculated annually and depend on the journal subject category. A screenshot of ranking or data from a year ago is often no longer valid. The second mistake: relying on unofficial sources. If the document requires publication in Web of Science, check precisely journal citation reports. If Scopus, use only official Scopus sources. In both cases, it is essential to consider the relevant year and category, as they can change. Any other sources of information may contain unreliable data, resulting in wasted time and resources on a publication that ultimately doesn't meet the criteria. Should you always prioritize publishing in Q1? Publication in Q1 is not always the most rational choice for author. This is particularly true in situations where dissertation defense or reporting deadlines are strictly limited. The volume of data or methodology doesn't yet meet the standards of top-tier journals, or there are insufficient resources for multiple rounds of peer review and potential revisions. In such cases, it is more reasonable to focus on meeting the minimum regulatory requirements while planning work on higher-level publication for the future. when sufficient time is available for thorough preparation. A quartile becomes a regulatory filter only when it is explicitly stipulated as a requirement. In all other cases, it serves as a tool for enhancement. It increases competitiveness but is not invariably a mandatory condition. If you'd like to navigate this process without mistakes, the company Scientific Publications is ready to assist you. We will help select a journal that compiles with the established requirements and provide support at every stage of the process. And that's all for now. Like, leave comments and subscribe to the channel. There is plenty of useful information here about Scopus, Web of Science, scientometrics and risk-free publishing. See you in next video!